What's good, you guys? Teddy Striker here, and this Saturday we got a massive heavyweight fight that's taking place at Wembley Stadium between Anthony Joshua and Dynamite Daniel Dubois. This is a huge fight, a huge title fight, because Daniel Dubois does have the IBF title due to the fact that Usyk couldn't defend his title against Filip Hrgović, even though he had a mandatory rematch clause against Tyson Fury. So it would have been impossible for him to fight Hrgović. So the winner of Hrgović versus Daniel Dubois was going to be crowned the IBF champion, and that was Daniel Dubois. So Daniel Dubois got his title and by beating Hrgović, but now he's taking on Anthony Joshua. And Anthony Joshua, he's a massive star. He's got a bunch of experience, and he's made some massive improvements. He looks like a tactical killer now. He looks like he's getting his confidence back. And Daniel Dubois, although he is the champion right now, he is the new kid on the block. He is that kid that's coming up and trying to make his way to big-time boxing and become a top heavyweight. But yeah, like I said, Anthony Joshua has a lot of experience. He's made a lot of improvements, and a lot of people seem to think that he is going to run through Daniel Dubois. But in this video, I want to talk about how I think Daniel Dubois could potentially score the upset this weekend. And I want to talk about some keys to victory for Dynamite Daniel Dubois. But before I get into that, this is not my prediction for the fight. Wait till the end of this video to hear my prediction. I'm just saying how I think Daniel Dubois could potentially score an upset for this fight. But with all that being said, let's get into the first key to victory I have for Dynamite Daniel Dubois. I think that Anthony Joshua is the faster boxer between the two. I think he's got faster hands. He's potentially got slightly faster feet. That could be debatable, but Anthony Joshua, he's got a lot of power and a lot of steam in those punches. And you're going to need to defuse that bomb if you're Dynamite Daniel Dubois. You don't want to just go out there and kind of weather the storm by taking some of his shots and then waiting for a later round finish, or maybe just trying to exchange with him. You want to first defuse the bomb, and then you can go in there and start disarming him completely and fully shutting him down. And also in the second, or maybe in the first Usyk fight, Usyk was putting a pace on Joshua, and he was hitting him with a lot of shots that were able to slow him down in those later rounds, and Usyk nearly got a finish late in that fight. So if you're Daniel Dubois, those body shots are going to help set up your headshots, and they're also going to slow him down. So it's really crucial that you go for them early in this fight. But the next key to victory I have for Daniel Dubois is now, whenever Anthony Joshua throws that right hand, he is trying to take your head off. He's trying to decapitate you. But whenever you do that, and whenever you commit so much into a punch, you're going to leave yourself open. And sometimes when Anthony Joshua has to retract his hand, he is a bit slow to do that. And he has been caught by several boxers and been rocked with a big shot because he doesn't see it coming, and he doesn't have a guard. He doesn't really move his head or anything. He's just there for the taking. And I think that if Daniel Dubois is able to block that right hand or slip it and then come back with a big left hook, he could definitely rock Anthony Joshua. And also, recently there's been someone from the Olympic boxing team back in the day when Anthony Joshua and Daniel Dubois were on there that said that Daniel Dubois did in fact rock Anthony Joshua really bad with a left hook, and if he hit him with one more punch, he could have knocked Anthony Joshua out. And if that's true, that's your shot. Go for it. You already know that you can land it. So in this fight, whenever Joshua throws a big right hand, wait for him to throw it, evade it, and then come back with a massive left hook and potentially knock him out. But the next key to victory I have for Daniel Dubois is Anthony Joshua has a nasty counter right hand that he was blasting Francis Ngannou with. He was blasting Otto Wallin with, and that's one of his best shots ever. He's got such a slick, just slip right hand or step back right hand, and his right hand is so powerful. And when his opponent is throwing an attack and kind of walking into range, that amplifies the shot because they're kind of walking into it. Their shots missing. They might be overextending due to AJ moving out the way. And then like that, they're just eating like missile. It's crazy. So Daniel Dubois cannot eat this shot. He was eating a bunch of right hands from Felipe Hrgovic. And you can't do that against this guy. You cannot just take these shots from Anthony Joshua. So use your feints just like Alexander Usyk did and kind of throw off his timing, throw off his rhythm so that he doesn't know when to counter you. And you can enter and throw your combinations in safely without getting counterpunched. But the next key to victory I have for Daniel Dubois is another reason why Otto Wallin and Francis Ngannou were getting countered so easily by Anthony Joshua is because their jabs were a bit like sloppy. They weren't as sharp. They're kind of dropping their jabs and they weren't really like threatening to Anthony Joshua. So Daniel Dubois in this fight, he's got to throw a sharp jab, a strong jab that's going to get AJ's respect, and a jab that is kind of unpredictable, but like mix it up with those feints like I mentioned earlier, those body shots as well. Go to the body with that jab and use your feints and use that strong jab, and then you'll see that Anthony Joshua won't be able to, slip and counter as effectively, and also you'll be setting up your bigger shots later on in the fight, and also use that jab to kind of pry away Anthony Joshua's guard to create an opening for that big right hand, just like Vladimir Klitschko did. But the next key to victory I have for Daniel Dubois is now, what I mean by defensive discipline is that Daniel Dubois always has to be defensively cautious. He always gotta keep his hands up at the right time. He's always got to make sure that when he finishes throwing his punches, he leaves punching range so that he doesn't get clipped when he's not expecting a big shot from Anthony Joshua. Daniel Dubois should also be proactive with his defense and make sure that he's not a stationary target for Anthony Joshua. Even if you're the one pressuring him backwards and dictating pace, you can still be defensively responsible, just like Alexander Usyk was whenever he fought Anthony Joshua. And also, when you finish throwing your combination, make sure you're staying safe at the end of it. You can do that by either getting your hand in the way of their face, in the way of their guard. You can do that by just stepping out of range, by going into your clinch with them. There's a bunch of ways to stay defensively responsible after you throw your combination. Just make sure you do that at all times, because you can't be getting hit like you were against Felipe Hrgovic. And the last key to victory I have for Daniel Dubois is now another reason why I think Anthony Joshua was able to counter a guy like Francis Ngannou so easily is because Francis was always moving at the same speed. He was like go, 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 go. He wasn't like Usyk where he was slow, fast, so fast, 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 slow. He wasn't really mixing up the speed of his attacks or the speed of his movements. And Daniel Dubois, again, to avoid getting countered, he's going to have to mix it up. You can't be throwing all your attacks at the same speed. And Daniel Dubois is a seasoned boxer. I'm sure he's going to be able to implement this in his game plan by maybe, starting off with potentially like a fast jab, then a slow jab, and then a fast right hand, something like that, just to mix it up and catch Anthony Joshua when he's not expecting it. But that's all I've got for how Daniel Dubois could beat Anthony Joshua, in my opinion. Obviously, there's a lot more that I'm missing that Daniel Dubois could be doing. And maybe he doesn't do anything on this list. But let me know what you guys think. Do you guys think that Daniel Dubois has a chance? Me, personally, I think that Anthony Joshua is going to win this fight. I think that he's going to be picking his shots very well. And I think that Daniel Dubois is going to walk into some shots and he could potentially get hurt really bad. But it's going to be interesting to see how AJ now deals with a puncher like that with the skills of Dubois, because this is like the biggest puncher that he's fought since Ruiz, along with the technical ability that a guy like Ngannou was missing. But anyways, thank you guys for watching. I appreciate you all. God bless. And as Anthony Joshua would say, make sure you stay humble, stay hungry, and enjoy the fight this Saturday. It's gonna be amazing. No UFC, but we got a great boxing card.